Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today for day 77 of 100 Days of Ayurveda. So, it has been quite an interesting journey, and today I'm in the bright yellow living room of my house. So, I'm super excited. I'm hoping, this brings some sunshine and some brightness to what we're going to talk about, right? So, today's topic that we are going to discuss is about hydration. Today, we are going to discuss all about hydration. How much water should you be drinking? Do you need enough water? This is one of the most common things we should be considering, especially in the summer season. A lot of the times, either you're not drinking enough water, which is making you feel even sicker or feel extremely tired. You could be getting different headaches. So that's what we're going to discuss. So I'm just going to hang on for a little while till I have people show up. I know most my followers, and we have a good audience, which is pretty regular. So I'm just waiting. People show up. I know most. Okay, just want to shut that down and just wait here till we have a few people show up today. So I don't see there's any tech issues. Okay. So let's talk about why you need to drink water, right? So we'll start by saying that, drinking water is extremely crucial. When we talk about diet and nutrition, most people focus on food, but there's not enough stress put on water, and water is extremely crucial to your life and your health as well. Hi, Madhun. Thanks for showing up. And I hope you're doing great. So, we're talking about water and hydration today. So, I was mentioning that, drinking water is extremely crucial for staying healthy as well as maintaining the function of every system of your body, right? We're not just talking about, a certain system or your circulation or your bladder, right? Or your excretory system. We're mainly talking about each and every cell of the body is going to need water. Your heart, your brain, your muscles are all going to need water. Fluids also carry nutrients to your cell. Fluids are going to flush all the bacteria of your bladder, and fluids are one of the main reasons you're not constipated. If you have enough water in your diet, if you're drinking enough water, you're not going to be constipated. So that's something water can help you with, right? And drinking fluids is totally essential for life, right? So it's not just about your health, but it's also about maintaining your life. And that is why you need to worry about dehydration, or you need to worry about losing excess water from your body. And some signs, that you are dehydrated could be, there are different reasons why you could get dehydrated. First is if you're out and about in the sun, when it's extremely hot, your body will try to keep cool by making you sweat a lot more, right? And that is how you're losing this excess water. That is also how you're losing a lot of minerals through your sweat. The other cause why you could be dehydrated is also with certain pills, right? So if you have high blood pressure, if you're taking any medications, which are diuretics, they're going to pull water out of your system along with certain minerals as well. So commonly, potassium can be lost. There are also potassium sparing diuretics, but you could totally lose minerals from your urine as well if you're on certain medications, right? If you have diabetes, as we have mentioned before, you could be peeing a lot, and the more you urinate, the more you're going to lose water from the body, right? If you have diarrhea, if you have gut issues with recurrent diarrhea, if you have watery stools constantly, if you're going 4 or 5 times a day and having really loose bowels, you could be dehydrated. If you have diarrhea or vomiting as well, right? So if you're losing water through vomiting, if you can't even keep any fluids down, right? If you have extreme nausea, you could also be dehydrated, right? So these are mainly like medical causes or health causes why you could be dehydrated. The other simplest reasons why people get dehydrated are you are extremely busy and you forget to drink water. right? So there's absolutely no reason why, there's no medical cause to it, but you're busy and you're not either remembering to drink water or you're habituated to not drinking water, right? A lot of the times people don't realize they're thirsty. So in today's world, a lot of thirst cues are understood as hunger cues, and people rather eat than drink water, right? So when I talk to people in my practice, I've seen them to always go towards food because they're constantly hungry but they're not drinking enough water. So you need to be able to understand the hunger cue as well as the water cue or the thirst cue, right? And sometimes, you have a sore throat or you have mouth sores, you feel sick in your stomach, or you have different reasons why you're not drinking water. Some people say they don't like the taste of water. So that is also something new. So most people are fine with the taste of water, but then there are also people who absolutely don't like the taste of water. They're either addicted to drinking pop or juices or milk, but that they'd rather not drink water, right? So that could be another cause why you are dehydrated. So let's talk about some symptoms of dehydration. So, how do you know you're dehydrated? One of the signs is that you're thirsty, right? When you are thirsty, your body tells you, okay, it's time to drink water. Your hydration is low. And that's when you feel thirsty. If you have a dry mouth or if you feel like you have a sticky mouth, you're going to be thirsty. If you're not peeing very much, right? If you're not urinating at least 4 or 5 times a day, you're not drinking enough water. If you have a really bright yellow color of urine, pretty much like my wall, I shouldn't have said that. But if you have this colored urine, what a wall I chose today. So if you have this colored urine that you're peeing, you're not hydrated. You are dehydrated. Your urine should be clear and pale, right? So if you have any darkness in the urine or dark colored yellow urine, concentrated urine that smells extremely strong, you are dehydrated, right? If you have a really dry skin, you're dehydrated. If you have headaches is one common sign of dehydration. So most people that I work with, if they're not drinking enough water and they're getting constant headaches, if you start drinking enough water, you will start feeling much better. So if you are getting a headache because of drinking excess water, not drinking water, that is quite possible. Muscle cramps, right? If you're getting any cramps in your calf muscles, your body cannot absorb electrolytes or minerals without the presence of water, right? So water does not stay in nature without any dissolved minerals in that. So, muscle cramping is a common sign of low magnesium. It's also a common sign of dehydration, right? Especially your calf muscles. So, these are signs of mild or moderate dehydration. But there is also something known as severe dehydration, right? So, if you are severely dehydrated, like you go out and about in the sun and you're biking, if you get like a sunstroke, you could have really dark yellow urine. That's one sign. You could have extremely dry skin. That's one sign. You start feeling dizzy, right? You start feeling dizzy. You're not feeling as strong or conscious. You start developing a rapid heartbeat or rapid breathing, right? Your eyes start getting sunken. You start feeling like lethargy, confusion, irritability, and you might even faint, right? So these are a few signs that you are dehydrated, and it is extremely important to distinguish between, dehydration, whether it's mild, whether it's severe, and especially in children, right? So especially when you're looking for babies or you're looking for young children who are playing and out and about, especially in the sun, right? You have to look for certain signs, like do they have a dry mouth or dry tongue, right? Sometimes you don't get a lot of tears when they're crying, or they don't get a lot of tears when they're crying. That shows that they are really dehydrated. Not changing diapers, if their diaper is dry for 3 hours, the baby is not hydrated enough. If their eyes are sunken, if their cheeks are sunken, or if there's like a softer spot on the skull, it shows dehydration. And any kind of sleepiness, lack of energy, irritability in the child will also show up as signs of dehydration, right? So it is extremely important to understand dehydration. It is extremely important to make sure you're well hydrated. So the most question I get asked is, how do you test for dehydration? So in my practice, I do two simple things to test for dehydration. One is you can literally use your nail, and you can use the back of your hand, and you can just draw a line. So if you can see a white line here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but if you can see, take your nail and draw a white line right here, that shows that your hydration is not enough. If you can see a visible white line on your hand, you are dehydrated, right? So that's one thing to understand. The other thing that I do in my practice is I do something called bioimpedance analysis. So I do have a machine that I can hook you up on your hands and feet with electrodes, and that's going to pass a tiny current that you're not going to feel, but that gives me a lot of information. So when I input certain data in the machine, it also helps me identify what is your hydration, right? So ideally, in the machine that I use, plus 25 is seen as a good sign of hydration. If you are dehydrated, if your hydration is in minus, I know you're dehydrated, right? And one of the cool things about testing or BIA is that it also shows you water retention. So it shows you water in the intracellular compartment, it shows you water in the extracellular compartment, and it also shows you total body water. So for most people, total body water should be at least 60%. For most people, the intracellular water should be at least 60%, and extracellular should be about 40%. But if you have a lot more water in your extracellular compartment, you're not utilizing that water, and that water is getting retained in your body, and it's not really helping you. So again, extremely important to identify this, extremely important to understand whether you're dehydrated, whether you're retaining water, or whether you're having a lot of inflammation. That also shows me the marker for inflammation. It shows me something called phase angle, which measures your cellular health, it measures your potassium. So BI is like a pretty cool test. It is something very simple. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. It's $30 for the testing. It's not an expensive test. So make sure, if you are in town, do visit me, and we can definitely schedule a BIA for you. Right. So these are a few things about dehydration. Do you have any questions? If you are watching this live, say a quick hi so I know you're here. I can see a few people show up live, but I can't see anyone in the comment section right now. So just say a quick hi, if you're here. And if at any point of time you have any questions for me, whether it's to do with hydration or how much water should I be drinking or what I should be drinking, feel free to, post it in the comments below. If you know a friend or a family member who absolutely hates drinking water, or if you know a friend or family member who is drinking pop instead of water, tag them here so that they also realize the importance of drinking water and how crucial it is, right? So the second point I'm going to take is that most people say that, okay, how much water should I be drinking? Should I be drinking 6 cups or 3 liters or 4 liters? So the amount of water you drink is going to be dependent on your body, right? As well as your activity level. So technically, when we talk about different doshas, when we talk about Ayurvedic personality types, if you have the dominance of Vata dosha or a Vata aggravation, because the nature of Vata is to dry things out, you're going to need a lot more hydration, right? With Pittas, you're going to need moderate amounts of hydration, and Kaphas are usually well hydrated unless they're absolutely not drinking water or drinking things that pull water out of the body, like any kind of diuretics or coffee or caffeine, right? So for most people, if you are a Vata dominant person, you need to drink enough water. If you are someone who's extremely active, if you are active into sports, if you're active into hiking, if you're constantly outside, especially in the warm weather, you need a lot more water, right? Also in the winter time, because our houses are heated, we tend to evaporate a lot more water from our body. So whether it's hot or it's cold, you are going to need a lot more water. In the summer though, you're going to need a lot more water, right? So pittas, because of the high heat, because of how their body temperatures could be slightly higher, they might also need a lot of water. So this is about the three doshas and the water consumption. The other factor is if you are active, or also depending on what kind of activity. So if you're into boot camps where you're sweating a lot, you are going to need a lot more water than you have a sedentary lifestyle, right? So this is something to understand as well. And the third part is, we've talked about different dosha types, we've talked about your activity level. But as we age, vata dosh tends to take over the body, right? As we age, we start developing natural vata dominance in our personalities and in our bodies. So for a senior, or as you're aging, you are going to need a lot more water than before. So water is kind of crucial to our health. Water is kind of crucial to maintaining, the lubrication in your joints, as well as the fluid in your between your joints, right? So make sure you're drinking enough water and you're not shying away from drinking water. Any questions so far? Okay. So the third point I was going to make is that, coffee, tea, or pop, they're not really going to hydrate you. I know a lot of clients who come to me and who are drinking lots of coffee, right? And they're drinking lots of black tea or green tea. They're drinking lots of pop and they think it's hydrating them. So, coffee, tea, anything with caffeine typically works as a diuretic and it will not hydrate you well, right? It's going to pull water outside of your body. Pop is also not really healthy. Anything that's carbonated is going to create an electrolyte imbalance eventually, right? It's going to start pulling minerals out of your body. When we talk about water and hydration, we talk about filtering water as well. So, water always has to be clean, right? So, not just the quantity of water but also the quality of water is extremely important. So if you're living in a place where your water is contaminated or your water is not clean, or if you're drinking from plastic bottles where there is a lot of bpa, and you're keeping hot water bottles in your car and the plastic gets heated up and it's going to throw in all the bpa, which acts like female hormones, right? That is going to be harmful to you. Filtering your water, getting a really good quality filter is extremely important. The one that I use is a Santivia countertop, which also takes a lot of pesticides or toxins out of your water, and it is also going to hydrate your water and mineralize your water. Sorry, not hydrate but mineralize your water, right? So it has certain alkaline crystals that are going to mineralize your water and be beneficial to your body. People who drink water from reverse osmosis systems are going to end up losing a lot more minerals from the body, because water always exists in a state with dissolved minerals. So if you don't have enough minerals in the water that you're drinking, if you have that dead water that you're drinking, it's going to start pulling water out from your bones, right? So that is something you have to be extremely careful. I'm going to say a quick hi to Iti. I'm going to say a quick hi to Sanika as well as Mugda. Thank you for showing up live. I know today we don't have as many people as I thought we usually do. And I had a really big webinar in the morning that I was hosting, which went really well. So I thought I'll do a short talk about, hydration. So the last three things, three factors you have to keep in mind while planning your hydration. The first one is quality matters, right? Not just quantity, but the quality of water does matter. Water does not mean coffee. Water does not mean tea, right? And water does not always mean that bottled water is extremely healthy for you. If you're keeping it in, your car, if it's leaching any kind of plastics, if there are microplastics, or if there are any BPA or things leaching into your water, it's not healthy, right? So even using plastic shaker cups or plastic bottles, you have to be extremely careful whether they are food grade, and you have to be extremely careful that you're not keeping them out in the sun. So that's the number one factor, that quality matters, not just quantity when you're planning your hydration, right? The second factor to always keep in mind is do not drink a lot of water before you eat, right? If you're eating a lot of water just before you eat, you're not going to digest your food too well. What ends up happening is you're going to create like dilution of the enzymes a little bit, especially when you're not having enough gastric acid, right? And some people also have a hard time digesting water. When they drink a lot of water, the water feels like it sits there. That more has to do more with the quality of water, right? So ideally, you know, not drinking too much water with meals. You can have small sips, you can have a cup of water if you want, but not too much is extremely important. And the third thing that I talk to people all the time is drink hot water, right? So when you're planning your hydration, if you drink 4 liters of room temperature water, you're not going to be able to palate it that easily. But if you start drinking hot water, 4 liters are going to be pretty easy, because water which is hot in temperature is also going to start detoxifying your body. So in Ayurveda, we talk about different properties of water: water that has been boiled till it's half, water that has been boiled till it's one fourth, you know. So there's a huge description given about different kinds of water. But for anyone who's watching this, even if you start drinking hot water, or water that's slightly warmer, that's going to be extremely beneficial for you. And that's also going to detoxify you. That's also going to help your digestion. It's going to support your digestion. It's going to help take care of excess inflammation as well. So this is something that's important to note, right? So that's all that I wanted to discuss about hydration today. Thank you all for listening. Today has been an amazing day. I just launched my online program, and it has been like an amazing program as well. So I'm super excited to announce that this is specifically for Ayurvedic doctors and practitioners who are wanting to practice. So if you're someone who has been following my videos, if you are trying to figure out how I do my social media, or how I work my business, or how I do so many things in my business, right? And I've had a lot of people asking me about it. I've had a lot of people asking me for trainings. So this one course is going to teach you a lot of information about aligning yourself with your ideal practice, about executing the actions, taking the actions, and also creating a profitable and sustainable practice for you. So I'm sharing the links right here. Please feel free to connect and check it out. And if you have any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Tomorrow's Friday. I won't be able to show up live tomorrow, but I'll be planning a lot of things, for next week. This Saturday, we have two main events. So this Saturday, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a talk on menopause and weight gain, right? So if you are in the menopausal age where you're starting to gain weight, and you're getting conscious about it, you're getting worried about it, this is something that we are going to discuss: what are some causes and how to combat it. And then at 2 o'clock in the Facebook group as well as on YouTube, we have Dr. Manjot Garcha, right, from Australia, and she's going to teach us about doshas and emotions, and how different emotions impact your doshas, and how your doshas can impact emotions. So how they're sort of interconnected, and what you need to know to have stress-free emotions, right? So all the links will be posted soon on the Facebook page. You can always go to my YouTube channel and subscribe it. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comment section. You know where to find me. So, everyone, have a fantastic night. Looking forward to seeing you all soon on Saturday morning. Till then, have a fantastic night and bye for now. And stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Stay hydrated.